Millions of people see this every week. They roll their cart past the registers, past the receipt checker, and straight toward a little stand in the corner of the building. No sign screaming for attention, no neon lights. Just a menu board that hasn't changed in decades, and a line that never seems to get shorter. A hot dog, a 20-ounce soda, $1.50. James stops in that line, tray in hand, and does something most people never bother to do. He does the math. Gas is up. Beef is up. Even the paper the receipt is printed on costs more than it used to. And yet this hot dog, this exact combo, at this exact price, hasn't moved a single cent since Ronald Reagan was in his first term. James reaches for his yellow folder. Something here doesn't add up. And when something doesn't add up, that's exactly when a new business file gets opened. Here's what makes this strange. Prices go up. That's not a Costco thing. That's just how the world works. A candy bar that cost a quarter in 1985 costs several dollars now. So why would one of the biggest retailers on earth, a company that reports its numbers to Wall Street every quarter and answers to shareholders who want profits to grow, choose to freeze the price of anything for 40 years? Companies don't do things like that by accident. So what is Costco actually protecting? To understand that, we have to go back to where this all started. Costco opened its first warehouse in Seattle in 1983. The idea of two men, Jim Sinegal and Jeffrey Brotman. Their pitch was almost the opposite of a normal store. Most stores want as many customers as possible, no questions asked. Costco said, "Pay us a yearly membership fee first, and in exchange, we'll let you buy things at prices that barely make us any money." It sounds backwards. Imagine a neighborhood grocery store that said, "Give me $20 a year before you're even allowed to shop here." And imagine millions of people gladly paying it year after year. That's the model Costco built an empire on. The hot dog stand showed up 2 years later, in 1985, almost as an afterthought. A simple food court to keep members fed while they shopped. Nobody could have guessed it would become the most talked about menu item in retail history. Fast forward to 2009. A reporter sat down with Jim Sinegal, by then Costco's CEO, and asked a simple question. If the price of that hot dog ever goes up, what would it mean? Sinegal didn't hesitate. "That I'm dead," he said. "Not we'll consider it. Not maybe in a few years. Dead." That's an unusual thing to say about a hot dog. James raises an eyebrow at that one. What kind of leader stakes his own life, even jokingly, on the price of a lunch item? Here's where it gets stranger. A few years later, around 2013, Costco's next CEO, Craig Jelinek, walked into Sinegal's office with a real problem. He told Sinegal, this is a direct quote, "We can't sell this hot dog for $1.50. We are losing our rear ends." In plain terms, the company was losing money every single time someone bought one. Not breaking even, losing money. And this wasn't a rounding error. Costco sells well over 100 million of these combos a year, which works out to roughly 3 hot dogs sold every single second, somewhere in the world, all day, every day. So picture that in your own kitchen. Imagine running a lemonade stand where every single cup you pour costs you more to make than you charge for it, and you're pouring 3 cups a second, all year long. Any normal business owner would raise the price the next morning. Jelinek basically said exactly that to his boss. And Sinegal's answer? "If you raise the effing hot dog, I will kill you. Figure it out. Figure it out. Not raise the price a little. Not cut the portion size. Figure it out," meaning find another way, because raising the price was never allowed to be on the table. That's strange enough to build an entire mystery around. A public company, answerable to investors, told its own executives that a money-losing product was completely untouchable. Before we get to why, quick gut check. If you've ever wondered why some prices in life just never seem to move no matter what's happening in the economy, drop a comment below, because this file is about to explain exactly that. And if this kind of real business mystery is new to you, hitting subscribe means you won't miss the next one. So if raising the price wasn't allowed, what did they actually do? This is where the story gets clever. Instead of touching the $1.50 sticker, Costco went after everything behind it. They built their own hot dog manufacturing plant in Los Angeles, and later a second one in Chicago, so they weren't paying an outside supplier's markup anymore. They swapped their original hot dog brand for their in-house Kirkland signature brand, cutting out another layer of cost. They even switched their entire soda partnership from one major beverage company to another because the new deal saved money on syrup and cups. None of that shows up on the menu board. The customer sees the exact same $1.50 combo they've always seen. Behind the scenes, though, Costco quietly rebuilt an entire supply chain just to protect a single item that, by itself, barely moves the needle on a company that brings in hundreds of billions of dollars a year. And that's the real mystery, isn't it? Why go to that much trouble, building actual factories, in actual cities, hiring actual workers, to protect the profit margin on a lunch item that any accountant would tell you to just get rid of? James stares at that yellow folder for a long moment here, because on paper, none of this makes financial sense. Unless the hot dog was never really the point. Here's the clue that changes everything. Costco doesn't primarily make its money selling hot dogs, or paper towels, or televisions, or anything on its shelves. The bulk of Costco's actual profit comes from one place: the membership fees themselves. The money people pay every single year just for the right to walk through the door. And here's the number that matters. Costco's membership renewal rate sits above 90% year after year, one of the highest customer loyalty numbers in all of retail. Almost everyone who joins stays. Now hold that thought next to the hot dog. What is a member actually doing every time they buy that combo for $1.50? They're collecting proof. Proof that the promise Costco made them when they paid that membership fee is still true. The promise wasn't, "We sell cheap hot dogs." The promise was, "We will never quietly rip you off, no matter what's happening in the outside world." The hot dog is the cheapest, most visible way to prove that promise, over and over, 3 times a second, to millions of people. It's not a snack, it's evidence. And that's the moment it all clicks. The hot dog was never a food item that happened to be cheap. It was a walking advertisement for the entire membership itself. Living proof, priced at $1.50, that renewing your card next year is worth it. Costco wasn't losing money on hot dogs. It was investing in trust. And trust is exactly what keeps that renewal rate above 90%, which is exactly where the real profit lives. Building 2 entire factories to protect a lunch item stops looking crazy the second you realize it was never about the lunch item at all. Think about how this shows up in smaller ways too. A neighborhood coffee shop that always throws in a free refill isn't losing money on coffee. It's making sure you never think about walking across the street to a competitor. A family that always keeps a jar of cash for emergencies isn't wasting money sitting idle. They're buying peace of mind so a surprise bill never turns into a crisis. Costco just did the exact same thing, at the scale of a $100 billion company, with a hot dog instead of a coffee refill. That's the business lesson hiding inside this whole mystery. Sometimes the thing that looks like it's losing you the most money is actually the thing protecting all of your profit. A promise you keep without exception, even when it costs you, is worth more than the money it appears to lose. Because that promise is what people are actually paying you to keep. If you've ever kept a promise to someone, even when it cost you something, you already understand exactly what Jim Sinegal was protecting. Tell us about it in the comments. I genuinely like to hear it, and it helps this business file reach more curious minds like yours if you like and share it while you're there. So the next time you walk past that little stand in the corner of a warehouse, you'll probably still smell the same thing everyone else smells, but you won't see the same thing everyone else sees. You'll see 40 years of a promise, kept on purpose, at a loss, on purpose, because the real product Costco is selling was never on that menu board at all. File closed. Before you go, if this file made you look at something ordinary a little differently, that's exactly what this channel is built for. And there's a new one to open every single week. Like this video if you enjoyed uncovering it. Drop a comment with your own guess at another company doing something similar. Share it with someone who shops at Costco every week without knowing any of this, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new file. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. There's always another mystery waiting. Because next time, we're opening a very different file. One about a company that seems to give something away for free, and somehow still becomes one of the most valuable businesses on the planet because of it. What is it actually selling instead? That's a business file for another day.